350 rupees will be charged for a single trip to cars plying on the India's longest sea bridge, which is the Mumbai Trans Harbour Link. The Berman family versus Reli Enterprises tussle intensifies. Now, Berman family alleges allotment of 8% shares in the NBFC arm to Rashmi Saluja without a shareholder nod. Also on the show, NDTV Profit takes you to the world's largest mobile robot factory, Adverbs Botverse. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching The Reporter on NDTV Profit, a show where we bring you fresh updates on market, national and international news. I'm your host, Pragati Oberoi. Now, before we move on to the show, let's have a look at how the markets fared during the day. I have my colleague Harsh joining us with the day's action. Harsh, over to you.
Well, it's a fascinating day of trade, reversal in the markets after 2 consecutive days of declines, and it was weekly expiry as well. First weekly expiry of 2024. The Nifty 50 was up 0.2%. The Nifty Bank eked out 1+% of gains. So across the board, it was green. Quick check on the heat map as well. We looked at solid gains in specific pockets. Bajaj Finance quarterly update, Tata Consumer as well as NTPC both gaining, reaching life highs. ONGC up 3% across the board. Those were the ones in the green. 2.8% up on IndiGo as well on the back of the numbers. The quarterly update and Adani Ports also gained around 2.5% on the back of a positive note coming in from HSBC. Among the laggards, you had the likes of the IT and the auto pack. If you look at it, you had the likes of an LTR Mindtree, HCL Tech, Wipro among the bottom 20%. We also had the likes of Hero Moto, Maruti, Bajaj Auto, M&M, all of which were in the red. Among others, of course, you had the likes of BPCL and Dr. Reddy's also, which were down 1.5+% in trade today. Quickly moving on to the advanced decline ratio, strongly in favor of the advances, 2:1 in fact, and those advances were largely led by the broader markets. The Nifty Mid-Cap 100 gained 1.5% in trade. What a run that one is having. And the Nifty Small Cap also eked out gains of 1% plus in trade today. So nothing to complain about whether we're looking at the benchmarks or the broader indices, but the broader indices continue to outperform the benchmarks, and that continues to be the theme even today, as has been in this year till date as of now, just 4 days. But, very quickly moving on, let's have a look at the sectors which were in focus. Nifty Realty, definitely the sector in focus today, 7% nearly higher, the highest gains it's made, single day gains it's made since the 7th of October 2021, so 2.5 years, the highest gains in single day gains that it's made. But other than that, you had the likes of the Nifty Energy, Infra. Those are familiar names which have been trading well in the green. The top 2-3 gainers have been some of those, and that continues to be the theme. Nifty Auto marginally lower, but closing flat nonetheless. So nothing to complain about. It's been a green day today.
Well, that was the market check for you during the day. Quite an action-packed day indeed. And IndiGo has also been a newsmaker during the day alongside the markets. It has announced a waiver on all fuel charges for the domestic and international flights. And this has come on the back of a cut in the ATF prices. My colleague Vinay joins in with more on this. Vinay, what sort of impact are now we expecting on the airfares from now on?
Yeah, so as you said, that IndiGo has removed fuel charge on all routes because of fall in ATF prices. So it was introduced back in October after a run-up in fuel prices for 4 straight months. But now that the prices have fallen in last 3 months, so the amount that you see that the ATF prices have fallen 4% in Jan, 6% in November, and over 4% in December as well. So what this will do is that it will make airfares cheaper, because IndiGo flies 6 out of every 10 travelers that travel in the domestic market. So it has a monopoly over the market, and this will play out in the entire market as well. So fuel accounts for nearly 40% of an airline's operational cost. So this is going to be a huge relief for the airline as well, and as well for traveler as well. But IndiGo has also said that it will continue to adjust fares with the change in fuel prices and the market conditions. So the relief might not last long for the travelers, so they can enjoy while it lasts.
Well, that was an update from IndiGo on the FS front. Now, let's move on to an update from the IPO space once again. Now, MobiKwik's board has approved the plans for an IPO. Now, for this, the company is planning to raise about 880 crore rupees through the offer. Meanwhile, Invesco has also raised Swiggy's valuation for the second time to $8.3 billion. My colleague joins in with more. Rish, over to you for this.
That's right, Pragati. Two very important pieces of news coming from the startup ecosystem today. We have MobiKwik that has filed a resolution to go for an IPO. This time it's a much smaller IPO than the first time that they applied for one. The first time they applied was in 2021 when a lot of startups were going public. You had Paytm, Zomato, Nykaa, the first wave of Indian startups going public. And after Paytm had that debut, which was frankly quite a disaster for a lot of startups that were going public at the time, MobiKwik decided to delay its IPO, and now they're again going for one. That one was a 1,900 crore rupee IPO. This one around a 880 crore rupee IPO, so very, very downsized. The founders have maintained that this time they're going for the IPO. Whenever they go for an IPO, it will be due to their balance sheet health. So this time they have been profitable for about 3 straight quarters, though the profits have been slim, but they've been about a single crore digit that they're posting. But a much more sensibly priced IPO, I think we can expect after we've seen Ola Electric and FirstCry also. So a lot of new age and tech IPOs coming through. On the Swiggy bit, yes, Invesco has, for the second time in a row, hiked Swiggy's valuation. It was earlier about 7.85 billion. Now it's 8.3 billion. And again, just for comparison, you have a listed peer in Zomato. Zomato's valuation is about 11.3 billion as of today's closing. So still quite a bridge there. And Swiggy is also IPO bound. So this sort of uptick also reflects the fact that Swiggy's core food delivery business has also turned profitable as of May last year. So we can expect more upticks coming in till the time that they file for their DRHP.
Rish, those are indeed very valuable insights. While you're at it, I request you to stay with us for a couple of more minutes, because we're getting a sense that Mintra and Sugar Cosmetics have also posted their FY23 earnings. So what exactly are you picking up on that front from now on?
That's correct. Two very important beauty and personal care players have also posted their FY23 earnings. I have Sugar's numbers right in front of me. Revenue has risen about 2x to 420 crores. What is impressive that it has come off the back of very controlled losses. So they posted about a 76 crore loss in FY22 that has still stayed at about 75 crores for FY23. So this has been a very good year, considering that they spent a lot on advertising and promotions. They bought on actors like Tamanna Bhatia to advertise for them. So though there was a big jump in the advertising and promotional costs as well as the employee benefit expenses, they've done well to control costs. On Mintra, however, revenue has risen about 25% to around 4,375 crores, but losses have also widened to about 782 crores from about 600 crores in FY23. So a bit of a disappointment there from Mintra. They are Walmart and Flipkart backed, so there is no sort of concern on its ability to continue operations, but they do still seem quite a way away from a path to profitability.
Right, Rish, thanks so much for those very interesting insights. Now let's move on to the Mumbai Trans Harbour Link. Now the country's largest sea bridge is all set to be inaugurated on the 12th of January, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi also going to be present at the event. In fresh updates, we now know that the cars will have to pay a toll of 250 rupees on this route. My colleague Malika joins in with more on this. Malika, take it over.
Well, your travel from Nariman Point to Navi Mumbai could change from January 12th. The Prime Minister will inaugurate the Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, which connects South Mumbai to Nhava Sheva port. Maharashtra government approved the toll for the 22-kilometer oversea bridge at rupees 250 one way. The bridge will reduce the distance between South Mumbai to Panvel or the Navi Mumbai airport to a large extent, which is currently about 50 kilometers via Vashi and takes over 2 hours to cover. Now, this travel time will substantially reduce via the new Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, and as approved by the Maharashtra government, cars will have to pay a toll of only rupees 250 to commute on the country's largest sea bridge. Initially, the Urban Development Department of the government had proposed a toll of rupees 500 for a car. However, that price now stands halved. Now, how does this benefit you and I? Let's compare. The toll price cars pay to travel from Mumbai to Navi Mumbai is rupees 45, but that takes around 2 hours to cover nearly 50 kilometers. But with this new Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, also called Atal Bihari Vajpayee Trans-Harbour Link, one will be able to cross over to Nhava Sheva in just 20 to 25 minutes with a toll price of rupees 250. And if we had to compare the cost per kilometer with the Bandra-Worli Sea Link, the cost on Atal Link will be around rupees 11.4 per kilometer against rupees 21 per kilometer on the Bandra-Worli Sea Link. Now the real question is, will you pay rupees 250 one way? Share your thoughts.
Right, Charu, thanks so much for that very interesting update, and definitely we are looking forward to the launch as well. Let's bring you a very interesting update on the AI rights. Now, earlier, the UK Top Court ruled that AI machine cannot be considered an inventor under the Patents Act of 1977. But the question now we are trying to address is that how does India's judiciary approach such issues concerning AI and even IP or intellectual property? We have our colleague Charu Singh to tell us more on this.
Hi, Pragati. So the development arises from United States Copyright Office as well as the UK Supreme Court. So what happened in United States was that for a comic book, licensing was applied for basically for copyrights, and it was found that parts of the comic book, the graphics in the comic book were generated through AI, and that is why the copyright license was not given to the party that applied for it. Similarly, UK Supreme Court set a precedent where it said that if something is invented, something is generated by an AI system, a human being cannot take credit for it, cannot get the copyright for it, and a copyright cannot be given to an AI entity, because as per the law in both these countries, only a human being can ask for such rights. Now, coming on to the Indian jurisprudence, we have to understand that there are several laws at play here. For example, the Copyright Act, the Patent Act, the Design Act, the Geographical Indication Act, and many more. In all of these, which are, pre-technological era laws, they talked about how a human being for an art created by them can apply for licensing, can get rights to these things, inventions or art pieces, but it has to be understood that AI came much after that, and for the same reasons we cannot blame the law either. So that is why as per the experts that we spoke to, some amendments or some new provisions or some new laws are required to tackle the situation. As of today, there is a lack of jurisprudence as well as precedents and case laws to basically have a clear picture on this. However, there are few ways in which it could play out. Either the person who made the AI system or the person who prompted a response from the AI to make something creative could be given the right to the thing that they are applying the license to, or basically we could see that if something has not even been prompted by a human being.
Thanks so much, Aru. That's indeed very interesting, and we'll keep coming back to you with more on this. Let's slip into a quick short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching The Reporter on NDTV Profit, where we've been bringing you the top news of the day. Now, let's move on. There have been fresh allegations made against the Reli Enterprises by the Burman family. Now, this is in regards to the allotted shares to Rashmi Saluja via the ESOPs. My colleague joins in with more details on this. Sajid, what can you tell us about this allotment and how has the board responded to this news? Because we're getting a sense that there are updates on this.
The Burman versus the board of Reli Enterprises battle is, getting more aggressive with the latest allegations coming from the Burman family, which allege that nearly 2.15 crore ESOPs were allowed or granted to Rashmi Saluja, who is the chairman and managing director of Reli Enterprises. This was done through grant of ESOPs and in basically Reli Finvest. The ESOPs on conversion would be equivalent to 8% equity in the NBFC arm. This entire allegation has been put by the Burman family against the board of Reli Enterprises and the independent directors, which has been refuted by the board and the independent directors, claiming that it is these claims are without any evidence. In fact, the board had come out with a statement earlier which said that the permission was taken from the shareholders of Reli Finvest. Also, they had informed the shareholders of Reli Enterprises on September 1 through BSE, and the entire approval of these ESOPs was done at the AGM, which was held on September 26th of last year. And though the grants have been approved by the shareholders, it hasn't been brought in front of the NRC, which is the Nomination and Remuneration Committee, and so no fresh shares have been issued, and there is no violation of SEBI's takeover regulation. Now, this fight has been going on for a couple of months, and it started off ever since the Burman family mounted an open offer to get control of Reli Enterprises.
Well, that was the update from my colleague, and let's move on. It's naturally a new year, and as we enter 2024, we are bound to have more warehouses as well that are getting automated. But what it's like to operate a futuristic warehouse, and to figure out exactly that, NDTV Profit visited Adverbs Botverse, which is also touted as the world's largest robot manufacturing facility. Take a look at it.
We all hear of warehouses getting automated and companies increasingly adopting solutions to make their supply chains faster and more efficient. To find out how exactly these businesses are transforming warehouses to be more futuristic, NDTV Profit visited what's touted to be the world's largest mobile robot manufacturing facility, Adverbs Botverse in Greater Noida. Adverb inaugurated the 15-acre facility in early 2023. The plant can manufacture 1 lakh robots per year and at present produces around 14 types of robots. All the robots provide warehouse automation solutions for businesses. We spoke to Adverb's co-founder Satish Shukla as he explained the different types of robots there are.
One would be static robots. Typically you have articulated robots or SCARA robots. Articulated robots resemble like a human arm and are used in automotive industry extensively for welding applications, are also used for pick and place applications. Then you have a second category called mobile robots, which are basically robots that can move your material from one place to another where we have significant presence. The third category typically could be a collaborative robot.
Where can one find the use cases for such mobile robots?
So it could be warehouses where you have to store material, you have to perform picking operations, sorting operations. The application could also be in factories, where you have to move your raw material, intermediate goods or finished goods from different assembly zones or from different manufacturing areas or to storage areas.
NDTV Profit then took a demo of 2 mobile robots on the Botverse shop floor. We saw their rail-guided vehicle, which is currently deployed at Indian Oil facilities, and Zippy, their rapid-moving mobile robots.
Wherever you have pallet storage operations, you store it in automated storage and retrieval systems, which allow you to store pallets on height. And whenever these pallets are retrieved from there and need to go to a place like a docking area or need to go to a manufacturing area, you can have rail-guided vehicles. So Zippy here basically moves on QR codes based on the ground. and the fleet communicates with each other with the help of a fleet management system.
While Adverbs' revenue growth has been impressive, with a 450 crore top line for FY23, India's robot manufacturing prowess is still behind countries such as China, Japan, and the US. Hardware still is largely replicable, and legacy players such as ABB and Universal Robots carry an edge. Then how does Adverb distinguish itself?
Robots hardware is just an element of a robotic solution. Entire solution has to be designed. How your material will get stored in the warehouse, how it will get retrieved. You need to find the right mix of robotic application and enterprise software. We definitely get an edge whenever we go outside India. People assumed, okay, these guys know their software.
Going ahead, Adverb, which is backed by marquee investors such as Gale and Reliance Industries, plans to foray aggressively into international markets and sees overseas revenue becoming larger than its domestic client-driven revenue.
Going forward in next 2 years, we expect almost 60% of our revenue to come from outside India and 40% of our revenue to come from India. The next 3 months are typically very hectic months for us. That's the most busiest period. In all probabilities, we should reach somewhere around 500 crore. That's the kind of top line growth we are targeting.
This was NDTV Profit's visit to Adverbs, what was touted to be the world's largest mobile robot manufacturing facility. It is a Series B startup founded right here in India with a product mix that is increasingly going international with aspirations of a 500 crore top line in FY24. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.